Happy New Year, everyone. It's me, Nate Johnson. I hope that you're all doing well, staying safe and healthy. I wanted to share with you a few things. My word of the year, my word for the year for 2022 is harmony. My goal is to create more harmony in my life and the world around me. More harmony in my family, my health, my community, my business, my friends, and my development, both professionally and personally. And to be honest with you, I've had some challenge in some of these areas, so I thought I'd share them along with some of the solutions that I hope to create for this year in hopes that maybe you'll find some value in it as well. So if I start with family, that looks like spending more time with them, not just at home, but my extended family as well. One of the things that I know is that if it's not planned, it won't happen. I talk to some people and they have amazing relationships with their siblings. I think that I have good relationships with my sisters, but if we put in the work, it could really be great. And it's interesting because although I say we have a good relationship, I don't know what one is. I was talking with Tiffany, operations coordinator here at Real Estate Solutions, and she identified her relationship with her brother much like I had defined my relationship with my sister. They get together for holidays and for birthdays, but not a whole lot beyond that. Her thought was that her relationship, as well as my sister and I's relationship, would be at the top of the bell on the bell curve of sibling relationships, with one end being folks that don't communicate with their siblings at all, and the other end being folks that their siblings are their best friends. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but for me, I just know that I don't talk to my sisters or see them as much as I would like. And the reason for this is a lack of plan. It's easy for our busy lives to get in the way of spending time together, and we've got to work to create a different outcome. My wife says that you make time for what you want to do. And I agree, but I also don't agree. Yes, there are more things that we could be doing. We'll get into that later, but there are a lot of things that we do just to make our world go round. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, he said the part of life that we live is really small. For the rest of our existence is not life, but merely time. Getting back to my sisters, and if I'm honest with myself, I have to ask myself the question if we've ever been in harmony. Another question is what harmony looks like between me and my sisters. I encourage you to ask yourself what harmony looks like in your relationships. We can't solve for a problem that we haven't defined. And this challenge of time also happens with my mom. Although we spend much more time together than my sisters and I, it's not as much time as I'd like. I like to think that my mom and I have a great relationship. I think she would say so as well. I love having dinner and watching movies or just talking, whether in person or on the phone, maybe on my way from an appointment or out of town. We always have a great conversation, and it always ends too soon. These days, however, we just don't spend as much time together as we used to. Again, it's because of a lack of plan. My father, he passed away just about 2 weeks ago, and we spent more time together because of our ritual of watching sports together and smoking an occasional cigar. Of course, sports events like the Indy 500, Monday Night Football, they're planned. It was easy for us to get together because we knew what the schedule was. For many years, we would spend every Sunday together watching football all day long. Then, we sort of migrated that to watching Monday Night Football every week. I'll never forget our opus achievement. Through the magic of TiVo, we watched 5 complete football games and a St. Louis Cardinal baseball playoff game in one day. We even mixed in a cigar and some scotch just to top it off. We were in harmony, and I'll miss him. Collectively, my wife, kids, and I, we spend quality time together, and I've always said that I'll take quality over quantity any day. And we love going to local festivals and events. We travel for field hockey tournaments and national park trips. We enjoy dinners, movies, and game nights. But what I've noticed at least over the last year, is that we've not spent as much unplanned time together. The dinners, the spontaneous game nights. And it took me a while to realize that COVID in 2021, as it relates to the time that I spend with my family, was much different than COVID in 2020. My heart goes out to all of the families and friends of all the loved ones that we've lost and we continue to lose as a result of this insidious virus. But my point is that in 2020, we weren't going anywhere. So the planning didn't have to happen. We were always together, sometimes more than we wanted. Jackson, the cat, especially was ready to see less of us at home. And of course, 2021, it's been different. We moved, and the world opened up once we were vaxxed. We felt more comfortable getting out a bit. The girls are going back to school in person, and the result was us missing each other a little bit more and being out of tune, a lack of harmony. Individually, my wife and I, we just don't spend nearly enough quality time together with just the two of us. We spend quite a bit of time together with our girls, but we could use more date nights, walks, and just conversations at home over a glass of wine without the kids. Of course, the kids don't drink wine, but you get the point. The bottom line is that we have to work to create more harmony with my family. And I say we, I really mean I, because I'm responsible for this if this is what I want to see happen. My solution is to create more plan time. My life plan for 2022 has specifics on how I will ensure to connect with my family in a purposeful way, from a family book club to hiking, karaoke nights, and the resurrection of our extended Johnson family epic road trip, and more. We're gonna make it happen, that's for sure. Dedicated dinner nights and game nights with my family at home, more festivals, scheduled walks, and dates with my wife. Now, if we shift over to health, Ariana Huffington, she said that a doctor's office is a great place for self-reflection. And I had a health scare several years ago, and it was a life-changing experience for me. When I heard the news from my doctor, a rush of thoughts went through my head, and I had instant clarity on things in my life that steal my joy, drain my energy, and cause anxiety. I immediately started taking steps to stop doing those things. I also had clarity about what feeds my energy and nourishes my soul, and I took steps to focus on those activities and do more of those. You may have heard that if you don't make time for wellness, you have to make time for illness. I take that seriously, and I often tell my team that I don't have time to be sick, and as a result, I need to make sure that I invest time in wellness. And I feel good about my health performance overall last year. I've got a target weight that gives me about a 10-pound range to work with, and I've been successful with staying within that range for the last 4 years. And I've also started running last year. And let me tell you, I have never run more than 2 miles in my life until last year, but I went on a trip that really inspired me, and that's a story for another day. But anyhow, I'm gonna kick it up a notch this year, and I'm gonna run even more. In fact, I ran a 5K on New Year's Day, and a year ago, I would have said you are nuts if you predicted that for me. And it's wild because this year, my goal is to run 400 miles. And of course, I'll continue to take my vitamins and maintain a balanced diet, exercise, and meditate as well. Now, if we look at my community, it's really a tale of two communities, my realtor community and my St. Louis community. I invested time in my realtor community at a few different levels. I served as the chairman for the Sustainability Advisory Group for the National Association of Realtors last year, and invested a lot of time with realtors all over the country talking about fair housing, diversity, smart growth, ethics, business development, leadership, and more. Locally, I served as chairman of a presidential advisory group that was tasked with identifying how realtors can help to address the systemic issues that have created a 30% difference in home ownership rates between white Americans and black Americans. And I was honored to be named Realtor of the Year for the state of Missouri, and I also received the Elijah Brown Pioneer Award from St. Louis Realtors for my commitment to fair housing. So those are some things that I really enjoy doing with my realtor family and my realtor community. And I continue to serve as president of the board of directors of Metropolitan St. Louis Equal Housing Opportunity Council and on the board of directors for TrailNet. And in 2020, I was appointed by the governor to serve as commissioner for Bi-State Development Corporation, which runs our mass transit bus and light rail system here in St. Louis. Last year, I was able to get more comfortable in that role, which is great, although I still haven't met any of my fellow commissioners outside of the Zoomosphere. Now, Muhammad Ali said that service is the rent that we pay for our room here on earth. And I want to make sure that I'm paying my rent, plus the rent of someone else that can't pay their own. Speaking of Muhammad Ali, have you checked out that Ken Burns documentary? My wife and I just finished it up last week, and it was really inspiring. It's an in-depth portrait of Ali from both inside and outside of the ring, and we learned so much about him that we didn't know, and some of the risks that he took that he didn't have to take, but he did anyway, and it cost him dearly when he did that, but he was rewarded for it in the end. And by the way, I'm not even getting paid for this commercial, but check out the documentary, it's on PBS. Anyway, the question is that I have for myself often about my community investment is, am I making a difference? Am I really making a difference? Could I be doing more? What does harmony look like in the communities that I serve? Sebastian Junger said that freedom from oppression does not mean freedom from obligation. And I think that's why I continue to ask the question about doing more. I feel a sense of duty in making sure that I'm contributing to make my community the best possible version of itself. The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership is one of my favorite books on leadership, and one of the questions that Jim Dethmer and Diana Chapman and all the other authors of the book ask you to ponder is, what is life's highest idea of itself that it wants to manifest in and through me? And I think about that question often. I think it's a great question for us to ask ourselves. And often I'll replace life with something more specific, like my community, or even more specifically, an organization or a person. One simple way that I will do more this year is by donating blood. I've never really done it before, not for any reason. I just was never really compelled to do it. And there's always a need in my community for these resources. And it's always something that most of us can provide. And this is a good month to start. January is National Blood Donor Month. Our community is experiencing a dangerously low supply, and I can help. Now that I know better, I can do better. I'm going to give blood today. You can book an appointment at www.redcrossblood.org. And I'll continue to think of ways that I can contribute to my community, and I hope that you will too. Let me know if you have any thoughts on that. So in 2021, my Real Estate Solutions Group was able to help more people than we did in the previous year, which is a banner year for us. We're grateful to have achieved most of this by serving repeat clients and people that were referred and recommended to us by existing clients, friends, and realtors from all over the country. And this year we want to help even more people achieve their real estate goals, so we're reaching out beyond our traditional ways of earning business to make sure that that happens. I also had the opportunity to coach and train agents here at Red Key Realty Leaders and instruct a variety of classes for realtors in St. Louis and all over the country via Zoom and in person. And I'm fortunate to have been able to reach more realtors last year than ever before. And I love providing that value to my realtor family. And my goal is to do more in 2022. Now, with friends, this is another area that I've struggled with. Over the past several years, spending time with friends has been a challenge. Yes, I know, there's been a global pandemic that we've been dealing with. However, if I'm being honest, which of course I am, I wasn't really spending a whole lot of time with them before then. Certainly the family and business plays a part in that, but it'd be a cop-out for me to say that it's the only reason. Yes, the kids started a downward cycle of not spending time with friends, especially for friends that don't have kids around the same age. However, inertia really did the rest, and we all know what inertia is, an object that continues on its current path unless there's an external force introduced to change the trajectory. And in this example, the object is getting together with friends. Kids change the trajectory, spending time to not spending as much time, and it just went down from there. If I want to spend time with my friends, like I said about my family, I need to be more purposeful about planning and scheduling it. It's not even just friends, but people that we meet and say, let's get together, and then we don't. I used to play golf every week, even when I had smaller children. And I played even more than that before kids. But last year, I might have played golf 4 times all year. And that was probably more than I played the year before that. And the reason that I played so much before, I think, was because my friends and I had a golf league that we created. And it was in the schedule. The same thing with poker. Once a month, it's in the schedule. Now, we haven't played poker since the pandemic broke out. No one wants to be holed up in a basement with 26 folks these days, but I've not taken it off my schedule. I've not taken it off my schedule because I know that once it comes off of the schedule, it's going to be so difficult to get it back on there. So I'm going to commit to play more of that this year. I'm going to commit to playing more golf as well. And I'm going to be doing it by planning. And if you're down, give me a call. Let me know, shoot me a text, because I'm going to plan it in advance with friends. I'm going to commit to watching sports, going out to dinners, happy hours, lunch, poker, and a lot more with my friends. And of course, These are all just words right now. I've not committed the time to develop this section of my plan to make SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And until I do that, it's not a plan, it's just a wish. My development. So the final area that I want to discuss is my development. My daughter challenged me to read 52 books a couple of years ago. It was rough, but I met the goal. I read with my eyes and my ears to get it done. And although I finished all 52 books that year, I wasn't able to synthesize them. And as a result, I didn't retain as much as I should. And that really defeated the purpose of reading all those books. Also, I didn't listen to the podcasts that I enjoy, and I really felt guilty when I was listening to music instead of a book. And I love music. This year's been much more manageable in terms of the goal that I've set for myself for 2022. And I'm gonna get it done. It's been implemented, and I'm gonna be able to synthesize all the books that I read. I also have specific publications to read, to listen to as well. I'm gonna earn another real estate designation, and I signed up for Masterclass. I don't know if anybody has checked that out. It's pretty cool. I just got into it, and I've not really gotten into it yet, but you've got all these famous people who are teaching basically their craft to you. So I learned how to make perfect scrambled eggs the other day by Gordon Ramsay. So that was pretty interesting, and I learned a lot just from that little 3-minute video. So anyway, I got to get into it and really figure out what's manageable in terms of completion, but I'll have a goal on how many of these master classes I will complete over the course of the year. So there's a Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And my daughter, Sienna, she said that today is a good day for a great day. And we don't have to do everything, but we can do something. Call a friend, call a family member, help a stranger, give blood, register to vote, connect with your elected officials, read a book, write a book, start a journal, write a song, learn an instrument, take a walk, do a push-up, stretch, meditate, breathe, volunteer, join a cause that you care about, stop doing something that you hate doing and start doing more of what you love doing. Michelangelo said that he created the vision of David in his mind and simply carved away everything that was not David. For me, I want to carve away the things that don't align with the best version of myself. And I hope that you'll do the same. And together, we can achieve harmony. Happy New Year.